Hello, welcome back. My name is Lokimius205 and this is Azul Ship Review. Well then, as a topic of this today video, we are taking a look at a fantasy ship that also appears in World of Warships. That also was planned being part of Kriegsmarine's naval plan, Plan Z called. A next battleship after Bismarck class itself. And this is Ironblood. How should I pronounce it correctly? PR ship. Ironblood PR ship. The H class. And representatives are Friedrich der Grosse and Ulrich von Hutten. What about H class? Well, the H class has some interesting backstory. It all goes back to this infamous and also plan with full of fantasy ships that also gave form to the O class, P class, D class probably, and also various forms and also aircraft carriers of German Navy. There have been many kind of plans when it comes to the jet plan itself. If I recall correctly right off the bat, the Plan Z consisted numerous Panzer ships. Was it 4 aircraft carriers, 2 Bismarck class ships, 2 Scharnhorst class ships, and was it then 6 or 5 H class battleships? As for the H class, there have been interesting informations I managed to find. When it becomes the H class, there has been many variations related to ships. So, first of all, the one we have must be either H39 or the H40, because if I can find them quickly over here, but I have managed to find, there is H41, H39, then there is H43, and then enormous H44 design. And I suspect we have H39 design. Of course, this ship also is probably based in World of Warships. So, and that is Friedrich der Grosse, Friedrich the Great. That is an H-class battleship. When it becomes to her, she was planned to have, well, a let's go with the characteristics. I wanted to just do some quick comparison with the H class when it comes to the H39 I wanted to compare it to the American Iowa class. Why? Because I wanted to. Well, the Iowa, as we all know, is overall length 270 meters and 43. While H-class, the H-39, the German ship, was overall length 277.6 meters. So there is slight differences, but you can clearly, I'm gonna say metric, because feet is only feet. So I'm gonna use universal metric, makes everything easier. So there's a few meters comparison differences between Iowa and H-class, but H-class seems to be not just longer, but also heavier. The H-39, in comparison sake, because I think and believe the Friedrich and Ulrich is based on this. So, H-39 designed weight was fully loaded 63,600 tons, while Iowa fully loaded is 85,460,000 tons. Okay, yep. Okay, yeah, probably I may have mispronounced something, but anyway, the point is, the Friedrich ship design is heavier compared to Iowa, but Friedrich, the H-class, was designed to be more durable in some extent. But of course, all these differs with not just by materials, but also machinery and how do you design the ship. The armors, the machinery, materials. But anyway, how does Friedrich and Ulrich, are they sisters? Or are they just related to the H-class program? Let's find out. Oh, first of all, is Ironblood motherly character Bismarck's right hand, because she is designed improved version of Bismarck class. What I managed to find by my fast research. Bismarck's right hand, Friedrich der Grosse. Musical mother, I have to say. So, how is she today? Well, if we take a look at her health, it is astonishingly high. In Ironblood standard, 10,122. But if you go with the fleet technology, it increases to 10,695. If you have every member from Ironblood upgraded, of course, it will change the amount of health even greater. At this point, I don't think I'm missing 3 ships to max level. But anyway, fleet technology increases her health to almost 10,700. That is one healthy battleship. If you go to the armor, it's heavy. And then comes to the firepower. Well, firepower is there. Its basic is 458, but if we take the fleet technology, it also increases from all the way to, well, in my case, 484. The AA is Autoplot standard, so it's not very impressive. This very standard is 246. And fleet technology, in my case, increases 260. Alright. And then she has no torpedo armaments at all. Her reload is 159. It's not bad. Her evasion is sluggish, 28. Her speed is 30. She was supposed to be designed a fast battleship, by the way. Her accuracy is 67. It also increases to 71 and higher if you fully upgrade every Iron Blood member. If you also upgrade her skills, that fate simulation, was it? Excuse me. If you fate simulation, yes, fate simulation. If you fate simulate Friedrich, then her luck increases to 25. Because she is ultra rare and also PR ship, research ship, her oil cost is astonishing 19. Very expensive ship to play. But what does she have to offer? Well, it's nothing to brag about. Well, it's Ironbot standard. Her main battery, main gun efficiency is 160% maximum. Her secondary gun is 220% and her AA is Ironbot standard 100%. Well, let's go to the skills. The first wall is Symphony of Destruction. This is upgraded version. There are slight changes, but let me read you original one. Upon taking damage, or when an enemy ship enters a certain range, fires special parades that ignores the enemy's armor type. Damage is based on the skill level. Has a cooldown of 15 seconds. But if you fate simulate Friedrich, it will become Symphony of Destruction Plus. When this ship takes damage, or when an enemy comes within close range of her, fires level 10 special parades, that is 1. Damage based on the skill level, 15 second cooldown between activation. 1 is 1. When this ship fires her main guns, fires level 10 special parades 2. Damage is based on skill level. Both these parades always fire from your flag speed position. Originally, if I recall correctly, the old one, fired there where Friedrich was. But now, thanks to this upgrade, it always starts in the flagship spot. Doesn't matter, is she not in a battleship position? Well, that was weirdly pronounced, excuse me. And second of all is Sonata of Chaos. When this ship fires an odd numbered salvo. Well, this took me a while to learn, but thanks to my friends I managed to understand what the odd and even means. Well, start with the odd. Increases its reload by 50% and damage dealt by 20% until its next reloaded salvo. So, let's take it simple. The odd number is the first one, number 1. The first is odd number. And when she fires her third salvo, that's the odd one as well. And then, that's simple. First, third, and fifth are these increases reload 50% and damage dealt by 20%. When this ship fires even numbered salvos, so if I recall, even is 2, 4, 6, increases its crit rate by 20% and crit damage by 50% until its next reloaded salvo. So this is basically very simple enough. The odd number salvos increase reload and damage dealt. The even number salvos increases crit rate and crit damage. So that is a really good start. Because she's a research ship, she gets the Siren Killer, which means increases this ship damage to Sirens by 15%. And second one is support. Rhapsody of Darkness Plus, and also this too gets upgraded after Fate Simulation. The original was when own HP is between 100% and 17% of max HP, increases own firepower by 20%, 70% and 30% of max HP, increases own firepower by 10% and decreases damage taken by self by 10%, and 30% to 0 of max HP, decreases damage taken by self by 20%. But after Fate Simulation, Rhapsody of Darkness Plus increases this ship firepower by 20% and decrease her damage taken by 20%. Once per battle, when this ship HP falls below 30% as a result of damage taken, increases this ship's secondary gun shell velocity by 15% and increases her secondary gun efficiency by 30%. So right from the start, she increases her firepower by 20%, that is a good one, and also makes her tanky, decreasing her damage taken by 20%. Once her HP falls below 30%, is a threshold, increase this ship's secondary gun shell velocity 15%. So basically, her secondary cells becomes faster and increases her secondary gun efficiency by 30%. That also increases her self-defense efficiencies. So make sure you have some really good secondary guns. As for the augment, she has no personal yet, but I don't think the BR ships gets their own. Well, of course, Isom is an exception, and some others. But for Friedrich, I don't think we are going to see one for a while. I might be wrong, because Scharnhorst, Gneisenau and Turbets got their owns. And some other ships as well. But we'll go for that of the future. Right from the bat, for a PR ship, she is super good from Ironblood. It increases her efficiency and damage dealt, and also improving her self-defense. You can improve all these if you have specific ships to improve her damage reduction and improving her crit rate and firepower. Our next candidate is Ulrich von Hutten. So what is Ulrich von Hutten case? Well, let's go with the historical thing first. Well, this is something I want to point out first, because this is not just related to historically, but also in-game. If you have followed Queen Elizabeth voice lines during the game history, she mentions that Friedrich der Grosse should have been sunk in Scapa Flow with other Ironblood ships when the first Siren invasion started. But this Friedrich over here is a different ship. So this is kinda cut from internet, this line over here, but I want you to understand what I mean. Well, there was supposed to be H-class 6 ships, and only 2 were cancelled. So there is a probability we are going to see remaining 4, or this is all about it, because there was supposed to be planned 6 H-class ships. There was something like first 2 ships were H and J. The contracts for the other 4 ships K, L, M, and N. So, when it comes to the ships, well, the ships neither received names nor were official name proposals published. The names, which appear in several publications, Hindenburg, Friedrich der Grosse, Grosse Deutschland, are pure speculation. Especially the often mentioned Grosse Deutschland, Greater Germany, is highly unlikely, as German High Command always feared the loss of vessel with the name of Germany. This show with the renaming Deutschland to Lutschow. The only hint on the names of the units were given by the High Command himself, who mentioned during documented unofficial talks that he would propose the names Ulrich von Hutten and Götz von Perlichingen for the ships, as these names are not connected with persons of the 1940s German or the country itself. So the loss would not have significant negative psychological and propaganda effect on German people. So Friedrich the Great is already here, but Ulrich von Hutten is here too, and Götz von Perlichingen. So Ulrich von Hutten, let's take it quickly, German knight, scholar, poet, and satirist, who later became follower of Martin Luther and Protestant reformer. Ulrich von Hutten, 1488 and 5023. So this is very old knight. And, well, that was boys, excuse me. But who is Götz von Berlichingen? Gottfried Götz von Berlichingen, November 1480s to 1562, also known as Götz of the Iron Hand, was German, Franconian? Imperial knight, Ritter, mercenary, and poet. He was born around 4080s in a noble family in modern day Baden-Württemberg, Götzburg-Hornberg Castle in 1517s and lived there until his death in 1562. He was active in numerous military campaigns during a period of 57 years. Okay. So this is this Goetz of Iron Hand. Goetz von Berlichingen. Interesting stories. So, if I am correct, Friedrich and Ulrich are both H class, but Ulrich is already one of the original ones. And Götz von Berlichingen is supposed to be the next, I think. But our Ulrich I personally like him. Kinda gothic. Well, let's see how those sheep fares today. Of course, after this, we are going to take a look at the skins. Her health pool is a fascinating one. She is an event ship from Tower of Transcendence event, but today you can build her in heavy and special constructions, and her building time is 6 hours. So, Ulrich von Hutten. She is H-class ship, but is she really Friedrich's sister? Let's find out. Her HP is maximum 9741. If you fleet technology upgrade, it can increase 10,292 in my case. Her firepower is 454, but it can increase 480. Her AA is Ironblood standard. It's not impressive, but it is there. 257, that can also increase 272. Her reload is 180. That can also increase to 190, making it a lot faster to shoot. Well then, her evasion is as battleship standard, 28. Her armor is heavy. Her speed is 30. Her accuracy is 69. Her luck is 50, a lot better than Friedrich, and her oil cost as ultra rare battleship is 17. It is cheaper, but it's still expensive. Well. In a bat, thanks to her heavy armor and good HP, she can survive a long time. But if you go with the PvP, she can struggle with those with fast reload, triple AP, and increased critical hit rate. So she can easily lose by AP ammo. AP. Well, anyway, let's put that aside. She's healthy and tanky. As for her gears, her main gun efficiency is 155%. Her secondary guns is 210%, and her anti-air guns is astonishingly Ironblood standard, 90%. Well, there is a slightly decrease comparison to the Friedrich secondary guns, but she gets 3 of them, and Friedrich as well gets 3 of them. Now then, to her skills. How does she fare? Let's take a look. Laurel of Prosody. Wait a minute. The Laurel of Prosody. Prosody? How do you pronounce that? Well, anyways, when this ship fires her main guns, instantly 100% chance to fire level 10 special barrage, inflicts a minus 30% speed debuff for 3 seconds to enemies hit. When an enemy gets hit to close proximity of this ship... Excuse me, that went fast. So first off, her first salvo, when this ship fires her main guns, 100% chance to fire level 10 special barrage, damage is based on skill level, inflicts minus 13% speed debuff for 3 seconds to enemies hit. So if you have fast reloading gun like 16 seconds, the enemy gets 30% speed debuff that lasts only 3 seconds. That's a good amount. Because if the enemy is fast moving and you want to reduce its speed to make it getting hit to it easier, this is going to be a really helpful one. And of course there are other characters that can also inflict speed debuff or instantly stop the enemy. When the enemy gets within close proximity of this ship, fires level 10 special barrage, damage is based on skill level, 15 seconds cooldown between activations. So I don't know how close the enemy needs to be for this to activate, but this is really good self-defense from the get-go. The second one is a support skill, In Ridicule of Fools. Increases this ship firepower and reload by 50%. That is a really good start. When this ship equips a main gun which uses HE ammo, increases this ship damage dealt to light and medium armor enemies by 15%. So you have a choice. This right here is a right from the get-go. Increases firepower and reload. But if you want to use HE guns, it increases Ulrich's damage dealt to light and medium armor enemies by 15%. That is actually a good one too. But there's a funny part. If you want to use AP, the AP can also inflict good amount of damage to medium armors, but has reduced damage to the light armor. So HE is a kinda good choice for Ulrich case. Now then, at the start of the battle, if this ship is not the flagship, decreases this ship's main gun reload time by 50%, but decreases her main gun damage dealt by 45%. You have a choice here if you want to utilize Ulrich damage dealt against light and medium armor, put her in flagship spot. But if you want to utilize this 50% main gun reload time decrease, then yes, you can use that to make her shoot faster, but you will lose main gun damage dealt by 45%. But that is compensated by 50% decreased reload time. So that is a nice trade, if you ask me. But make sure what kind of gun you want to use. The last one is Revolutionary's Prosaic. Increases this ship crit damage dealt by 20%. Very good. So, in my case right here, increase main gun crit rate, the super heavy shell, by 8%, and then increases main gun crit damage by 25%. So, increasing crit rate 8%, and if you add 20%, excuse me, this is crit damage, 20% crit damage, and then type 1 AP shell, increase main gun crit damage by 25% extra, that is 45%. And if you do this crit rate 8%, she is packing a punch! She is not fooling around, at least. She is not fooling around. While this ship is afloat, for the first 5 battles of a sortie fought by a fleet, this ship is not in. The following buffs apply to that fleet. So, simply translated, when second fleet enters battle 5 times, well, I had this pronouncing in my mind, but I guess I pronounced it wrong. But simple is, the first 5 battles the second fleet takes. The first 5 battles the second fleet takes, where Ulrich is not part of. Decreases damage taken by your Iron Blood ships by 5%. 2. Increases crit damage dealt by your Iron Blood ships by 10%. When an enemy gets within close proximity of your ships, fires level 10 special support barrage. Damage is based on the skill level and only activate up to 6 times per battle. Has 5-second cooldown between activations. So this is a basic ultra rare character's support skill for the other fleet, which is a good thing after all. In here we have read all this, so we can now assume she is a really good battleship from Iron Blood to offer. Now the good part is the skins. Hold on, Friedrich. So her first skin was Dark Raiments of Gangaku. Of course, let's not forget inspecting her original skin. You can clearly see some old German style design over here, like somewhere 1800s, probably. Her attire is based on 18th century European fashion. It is actually there if you take a look at her beautiful clothing over here. And then she has black hair and that white color or white gray, I don't know, behind her really improves the details, and the red horns over there also is a nice touch. And this over here, if I recall what was it called, but the orchestrators use really hits her musical talent and interest in music. As for her big rigging, it was described in trivia in Asolen Wiki that Friedrich's abnormally large rigging reflects on the fact that the proposed H-class ships were one of the largest battleships ever designed. If built, Friedrich der Grosse would have weighed up to 72,500 tons and been armed with 8 guns, either 40.6 cm 16 or 42 cm 16.5 variant, which are seen around her. And these are the guns for that. Really beautiful design. And so her skins, if I recall correctly, this was from the New Year? Was it New Year? I had this very long time. But you can clearly see the kimono Friedrich holds. It's not just the details, but the design is really impressive. The artist did some really good work over here, designing the kimono like this for Friedrich. As for her, my second favorite, the swimsuit skin, that is a live 2D. It is a really spicy one indeed. If you click over here, this book over here, it changed this attire, what she is clearly taken off. But anyway, oh, this is the wrong one. Excuse me. The next one is the wedding, the oath one. You can see her riggings are well behaving to support with this what is rope? And then Friedrich have put some beautiful design of a wedding dress. I instantly owed her when I fully maximize her affinity. But was it some time after that, when she was released, this skin finally was released. It took some time, but we have now old skin for our motherly Friedrich over here. As for the Ulrich, she has skins too. She has this maid version, of course. But let's take a look at her rigging design first. Over here, you can clearly see possibly the design of the H-class too. But once you get her, one of these riggings transforms into a scythe? Scythe? How do you pronounce it in English? Actually, let's go to the archives and receive. Well, it was not clear there at first, but you can actually see some kind of part going over here. And also her dynamic is a beautiful one. And Friedrich too also has dynamic. If you go over here. I think I'm gonna put her back to the secretary. And of course Ulrich has a secretary story, of course. Now back to the Ulrich skins, the maid one. Back alley maid coming out of the maid cafe. to relax here, and then you meet her here. You have a nice chat before she goes back to the talking, back to the work. Misclick, excuse me. Next one is ignition matrician. This is one of my favorites. This is live 2D. Well, it seems she has 2 live 2Ds and 1 animation one. But this is one of my favorites. One of my favorites of this far the Ulrich actually has. Many details over here, and I actually love it. And next one is a school. Well, let's do it this way. Skins over here. You can see her spider legs over here in the side hiding. And I think is this slightly gothic design, but it's still there. Very much speaking to Ulrich's personality, which I like. Now then, I think we have been talking enough with these same class ships, but are they really sisters? Well, if you take them battle, they do also mention that, well, Ulrich, that they are dancing on different tunes. Well, the fact is, if you actually done Ulrich's secretary story, Ulrich likes to play music. And Friedrich also likes music. But these two are heavily different. But anyway, that's enough rambling. And I guess it's now time to their ship review. And I say I will see you there. Alright guys, lucky me's voice over here. So, Friedrich and Ulrich, the H-class battleships. How are they? Well, they surely are the pinnacle of Ironblood engineering at this moment. In battleship standard. They have high HP. Friedrich goes the highest. But now that we have Musashi, I think Musashi goes actually higher than Friedrich, but she is Sakura Empire battleship. So in this background I actually wanted to try out taking both of these Ironblood fleets to the map 14-4. It was a stupid mistake, because I forgot what kind of cancer the difficulty this 14-4 actually has. The submarines and planes, they are randoms, yes, but the submarines alone made this stage difficult to pass with this lineup I have in both fleets. It doesn't matter how tanky your ships are, it's about how well they can defend against these submarines alone. The other surface ships are fine, but the submarines are the issues. So I kinda screw up in that defense way. Anyhow, Friedrich first. So Friedrich is, in her own way, strong, thanks to her impressive skills. And not just skills, but also possibility to actually reduce. Let me check real quick again with the skills. Was it Rhapsody of Darkness? Decrease her damage taken by 20%. So that makes her tanky and survivable, and thanks to her Fate Simulation, the Symphony of Destruction Plus, she has 1 salvo and 2 salvo. With the damage is based on skill level, although there's a 15-second cooldown, and the sway barrage damage is based on skill level. These barrages always fire from your flagship position, so it always is reliable that it can defend back fleet, and making her more survivable. And not just that, with her this odd Sonata of Chaos example, every odd salvo, the 1, 3 and 5, every odd salvo increases on reload 50% and damage by 20%, and the even salvos 2, 4, 6, etc. increases critical rate 20% and critical damage by 50%. And also, Rhapsody of Darkness increases on firepower 20% and decreases her damage taken by 20%. Once per battle, when this ship HP falls below 30% as a result, damage taken increases this ship's secondary gun shell velocity by 15% and increases her secondary gun efficiency by 30%, which also then increases her own defense capabilities. So you could say this H-class battleship is well prepared. And she is a research ship, so you can actually build her anytime you want. And if you want to give her full Ironblood gear as a get-go, you can actually build them too in Ironblood Research Laboratory. If you want to improve her defense capabilities, or battle performance, you can actually take either Bismarck or Bismarck Sway, because Sway has the Reborn Temple of Iron that increases firepower, torpedo and AA of Ironblood ships in the same fleet as this ship by 15%. So that extra 15% for Friedrich is a really good welcome buff indeed. If you want to make her a flagship, you can either use Jet 25 that has flagship cover. While this ship is a float, decreased damage your flagship takes by 25%. Or if you want to try, I am not sure does this stack, but Spirit Defense from Jet 9 is when this ship equips a main gun that fires AB ammo, increase this ship main gun damage dealt by 10% and decreases the damage taken by 15%. While this ship is afloat, decreases your battle cruisers and battleship damage taken by 10%. That also increases her survivability. If you want to go nuts with the combinations, you can actually take Graf Zeppelin. Thanks to Graf Zeppelin, the Ironblood Wings reduces damage received by all Ironblood ships in the fleet by 15%. There is a huge combinations how to make Friedrich tanky, and also this Prince Ruprecht also has possibility that Lindworm Protector's Occult. When the battle starts, if this ship is your flagship, decreases this ship damage taken by 15%. If not your flagship, decreases damage taken by the ship above your flagship by 8%. That also increases Friedrich's survivability. But if you want to do some more damage, this is kinda small example if you have Thuringen from Ironblood. The Providential Starfall goes this. When this ship finishes loading her main guns, 70% chance to fire level 10 special barrage. When an enemy is hit by this barrage, blue shells for 10 seconds decreases that enemy's evasion by 8% and increases their damage taken by your Ironblood ships by 12%. That also increases Friedrich's damage output some degree, but it really heavily relies on that barrage being activated. Now then, this was a lot to take in, but I highly recommend watching this again if you want to try some really interesting fleet combinations. Well then, Ulrich. What does she have? Well, if we take a quick look, yes. Increase this ship crit damage dealt by 20%, and as long as this ship is afloat, whenever another fleet engages in one of its first 5 battles this sortie. This is revolutionary's prosaic. This is actually a good supporting defense and offense for all Ironblood members on that second fleet. That's why I decided to separate Friedrich and Ulrich, so that Ulrich can support the other and Friedrich can do the job. Like decreases damage taken by all Ironblood ships in that fleet by 5%, increases a crit damage dealt for all Ironblood ships in that fleet by 10%, and also during that battle, whenever an enemy gets within close range of your ships, fires a supporting barrage. This is actually a good one indeed. As for herself, in Ridicule of Fools, increases this ship firepower and reload by 15%. So, when this ship equips a main gun that uses HE ammo, increases this ship damage dealt to light and medium armor enemies by 15%. And we shall not forget that there is a second option to make her a second ship and not as a flagship. If this ship is not the flagship, decreases this ship main gun cooldown by 50%, excuse me, but decrease its main gun damage dealt by 45%. So this is also good one indeed, despite that damage reduction. And what comes to the Laurel of Prosody, when this fires main guns, 100% chance to fire special barrage. Enemies hit by this barrage decrease speed by 30% for 3 seconds. Whenever an enemy gets within close proximity of the ship, fire special barrage. The proximity barrage has a 15 seconds cooldown between activations. So, how to make Ulrich? What to do with the Ulrich? Well, as for the get-go, it doesn't seem like she has any possibilities to reduce damage taken comparison to Friedrich, but if you want to improve her damage output, there are of course possibilities. Let's not forget that original Bismarck gives to the fleet. This is the Will of the Iron Blood. Increases the main gun crit rate of all your Ironblood ships by 20% and increases their reload by 12%. So of course this also improves Ulrich's performance, as well as from Bismarck's way, Increases firepower, torpedo and AA of all iron block ships in the same fleet as this ship by 15%. Excuse me for that little pause. And so you can actually, if you want to make Ulrich your flagship and increase her survivability, as I mentioned, these are just examples. Jet 25 gives the flagship cover. Jet 9 also gives to battleships only damage reduction taken. Crash Zeppelin reduce damage received by all ironblock ships in the fleet by 50%. And also, if you want to make the Ulrich more survival, but she doesn't, but you need to take her out from flagship position, then this Rupert skill, Lindworm Protector's Oculus, actually gives more survivability. And this is just also an example if we want to improve her damage output only just for 10 seconds. That 12% is a Thuringen's Providential Star Fall. These are just examples how to make Ulrich more upgraded. But of course there are more options. August von Possible can actually reduce the enemy speed. And what else? What else? There are plenty of others as well. Alviteer example. Okay, maybe not, maybe not. I misremembered, excuse me. I misremembered. Let me see, there was one specific ship. Brunhilde? Okay, yes. Pantheon of War from Brunhilde. Increases this firepower 10% when the battle starts. If there are 3 ships afloat in your main fleet, increases the accuracy of your battleships by 10%. It's not much, but that can actually increase the accuracy. That is also important to some degree. But I say, these are just examples how to improve their survivabilities and their performance. If you have a chance to use them both, go ahead. If you're Ironblood main and you want to go all in with Ironblood engineering, this is the one way. But anyway, I say we have now finally come to the end of this long review. We actually did some historical analysis. It's not the best, but close enough. Thank you so much for watching. This was a really long video indeed. I apologize for that. My name is LuckyMias205. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves. And I see you in next time.
邪魔だ。 チェックメイト。今ので満足したかどうか聞かせてくれ。